We're so proud of our
to keep a team pumped up during Super Bowl week. It all begins tonight at the Super Bowl site. You're going to see a lot of the players disembark from that airplane momentarily, and I guarantee you a whole bunch of them are going to be carrying video cameras to document this scene all by themselves.
Put it in their little scrapbook.
Exactly. That's what they're going to do with it. So, you know, and that's what a lot of the guys will do tomorrow during media day. They'll be videotaping the media, videotaping them.
Yeah.
So they do that. A lot of the guys have their families flying out there, so they'll be spending some family time visiting with friends and family as they go out there. But a lot of the focus will actually be on their game plan. They really want to keep this a business trip, and that's exactly the way they look at it. This is not fun. They figure they can travel and have a good time and holiday after the Super Bowl is over. But right now, what they're looking at this as a total business trip. So they're going to stay focused.
And in answer to our question a moment ago, where will they practice? We just found out the Raiders are going to be practicing at the Chargers complex, and the Bucs will be practicing at the University of California in San Diego. That'd be kind of funny if they practiced at a high school field.
Well, you know, I've actually seen that when the Super Bowl was here a couple of Super Bowls ago.
Right.
One of the football teams actually did.
They did. I didn't
practice at one of the high schools here locally.
That's funny. I didn't realize that. You know, it was distracting. I was telling you this earlier when we were just chit-chatting. It was distracting when I was watching the game yesterday on television, and something good would happen to the Bucs, and there would be silence on the screen, and I would literally have to remind myself every time that they're playing in enemy territory. There are no Bucs fans in Philadelphia, and so like when Ronde Barber, you know, made that 92-yard run or whatever, there's actual silence, and I'm so used to watching the television, watching the games here, where Raymond James is just, you know, in an uproar every time something good would happen, the slightest thing that would happen in the Bucs' favor, and you're watching yesterday, and it's just in silence.
And can I tell you that silence is absolute music to a defense's ears, because that's exactly what they want to hear. They want to. There's no better sound than hearing the silence of a crowd at an away stadium. They won't hear that in San Diego, because there'll be plenty of Raiders fans there, but there'll also be plenty of Buccaneer fans. And as we know, San Diego fans really dislike the Raiders. So anybody who's in San Diego is probably going to be cheering for the Buccaneers.
Good. That helps us, Jerry. You know, you've been covering Tampa Bay sports for 20 years, and you were here in the team's infancy, and now they're going to Super. What does this mean to you? Well,
it's very interesting to me, because I had the opportunity, the privilege really, to cover this football team even back in the days when they were 2-14. And that was a real challenge to walk in the locker room and try to interview some guys when they're 2-14. They use the back door a lot.
And to report on it week after week after week.
It was kind of a joke that I kind of got to be an expert on telling losing stories and making them look like, you know, they had really won something. And my biggest challenge was when the Bucs started winning. I said, I'm not sure I know how to tell a winning story.
Yeah, that's right. You're so used to that, so geared to that. You know, I told you when we came here several years, about 8 years ago, we went into a Target looking for a little Bucs shirt for my son, who was just about 1 at the time, and we couldn't find any. There weren't any. There were Dolphins shirts and I believe Atlanta Falcons shirts, and we couldn't find a Bucs shirt to be had, so we never did own a little orange Bucs shirt because we couldn't find one to buy.
Well, just to further support that, when Hardy Nickerson went to the Pro Bowl for the first time, he was the first Buccaneer since Leroy Selman to go to Hawaii to the Pro Bowl. He took a whole bunch of orange Buccaneer shirts out there to exchange with the other players. Nobody would change with him. Nobody wanted one of those orange Buccaneer shirts.
And it was free, and they still didn't want it. That is bad. That's got to be depressing. We are watching a live picture right now from San Diego, where the Buccaneers chartered jet has just landed, and you can see that the jetway is ready to pull up to the plane, and the team will disembark, minus John Gruden and the coaching staff, as Jerry explained a few moments ago. The coaching staff is still here. They're going over their game plan. They will fly in on a later flight. But right now, the Buccaneers are about ready to disembark this aircraft. They will load buses and head to their hotel, where they will be staying for the week in San Diego. They left this afternoon, Tampa International Airport, about 2:19 this afternoon, and now it is then about 4:22 in San Diego. Beautiful day, it looks like out there, and Dennis is forecasting, I think, what did he say, 59 degrees at kickoff time on Sunday?
Should be beautiful weather out there. As Dennis pointed out the other day, it is the rainy time of year, but I believe the weather forecast for this year, for this week, is supposed to be very pleasant. One guy, just a quick note before these guys get off the plane, even though we pointed out that John Gruden and his coaching staff did remain behind in Tampa for the time being, and they, again, will be out there. They will fly to San Diego later on tonight and be there in time for Media Day tomorrow. One guy who did make the flight, Joe Juravicius is on that flight.
That's good.
He got enough good news about his young son today to make him believe that it was okay to join his teammates and fly out to San Diego.
That's great. In case you aren't familiar with that story, Joe Juravicius and his wife Megan just had a baby boy last week prematurely, Michael. And Joe went to no practices last week before they went to Philadelphia, and going to the game in Philadelphia was even in question. And John Gruden, as we are told him, hey, family first, do what you need to do. Joe didn't even want to go to the game. His wife said, no, you got to go. His family cheered him on. And of course, his play yesterday was almost a turnaround in the game. It was kind of a momentum at that point in the game, and Tampa Bay really took over. That
play really kind of epitomized what the Buccaneers had to offer up there, which was all heart and plenty of talent also when he took that ball, and it did. That was the play that turned the game around, and of course Mike Allstott scored a touchdown on the next play, and
all in silence, of course.
all in total silence, which was the coolest thing for the Buccaneers. They loved silencing.
It's like they were playing in front of nobody. That's right. This is great. Well, they should be getting off the plane shortly. They keep moving that stairway back and forth. I don't know if they've found the door yet or not. Jerry, have you been in the locker room before a game, before a big game? What does I read where John Lynch said that the pregame pep talk that Coach Gruden gave them yesterday before the Philadelphia game was just tremendous. What kinds of things do they say? I mean, you have images that he's in there yelling at them, or any coach, you know, a coach is in there yelling at the team to get them pumped up, but psychologically, what does he tell them?
We're seeing some Buc fans right there on the ground in San Diego, and they have pulled up the stairway to the airplane, and I think they're just about ready to open the door. But in answer to your question, John Gruden doesn't really yell in the locker room before a game. He is an excellent motivator, and his use of the English language is phenomenal in order to capture just the right words. And I think back to a statement that he made to us talking about the Philadelphia Eagles prior to going to Philadelphia and beating them yesterday, was that in previous engagements they had been defeated decisively. You know, those are words from a man who has you know, wonderful motivation. And they were meant for not only us, but for his players also. And so when he goes in there, he has words of encouragement, but he is quite the motivator. They have opened the back end of the airplane, and they should be coming out momentarily.
And we understand security is very tight as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers arrive. And can you tell who we're looking at?
That looks like Keyshawn Johnson right there.
They're in casual clothes. It's hard to tell who they are. And then we have Rondé Barber. And there they are with their video cameras, right, just like you said, Jerry.
Video cameras, Rondé Barber, Keyshawn Johnson, Warren Sapp, Shelton Quarles, among some of the guys getting off the airplane right now.
How many people are on the plane?
Well,
I mean, or not on the plane, on the team?
There are, well, there are 53 players, but there are also
Simeon
Rice is right there. They have more than 100 players who normally, 100 people who normally travel with the football team.
And who gets a Super Bowl ring if they win? Does everybody get one?
Well, the cheerleaders were talking last night that they were going to get one, and there are the Glaziers. That's Brian and Joel Glazier coming off the plane now.
That's the banking system for this team.
Yes, it is.
They're the ones paying for the trip.
So we need to ask them who's going to get the Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, that's right. How do you distribute these rings around?
We know that all the players will receive Super Bowl rings. Many of the front office staff will, and the cheerleaders. There's Anthony McFarland coming off the plane.
And he's got to be discouraged on this whole thing. Can't even play in the game.
Yeah, he won't get to play, so that will be frustrating for him. But a lot of the guys on the phone and the guys who aren't on the phone have a video camera.
So people who really, I mean, there are so many Bucs players, frankly, that that we've never heard of, you know, because they don't get much, they don't get any play time. A lot of them, some of them very little.
A lot of them are backups.
But the entire team gets a ring. Is that right? And everybody gets a bonus. I mean,
absolutely.
The winners get a certain bonus, and then the losers get a bonus too, just because they made it to the Super Bowl.
That's correct. Yeah, everybody gets a little bit of extra money, a little something extra in their paycheck, and everyone will receive a ring if they win. And you know, the Buccaneers certainly are counting on that. They say they have complete unfinished business, and they will focus very sharply as they look at this as a business trip, even though they will, I'm sure, have just a little bit of fun in San Diego.
Oh, I think so. This plane, we understand, holds about 300 people, although I don't know that it was completely filled in there. And Dennis corrected me a minute ago. It is going to be 69 degrees and sunny at kickoff time. I thought it was 59. Going to be 69 and sunny at kickoff time on Sunday night. And what is that exact kickoff time? Is that 6:18?
It is 6:18 is the normal kickoff time. Well, you know, they start their coverage about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I think kickoff, they want to start the pregame festivities, which is the flyover, the national anthem, and everything. So 6:18 will be when they actually tee the ball up and get the game underway.
I think the Dixie Chicks are doing the national anthem.
There's Brad Johnson right there, and there's Warren Sapp.
There's Warren Sapp.
Look at what he's wearing. Looks like he's wearing an old Ron Jaworski Philadelphia Eagles jersey.
He was at the game last night. Ron Jaworski was at that game I saw. And there's Rondé Barber. I talked with Brad Johnson's mom last week, who relocated from North Carolina, where Brad grew up and where she's lived for decades, and she relocated here to the Bay Area last year, obviously to be near Brad and the grandchildren and all. And she was just a delight to talk to, and just so much fun, but so much common sense and just down to earth. And she just said, you know, this was his dream, and he never got his mind off his dream, even though, you know, when he went, she said he graduated from a very small high school in North Carolina, and he went to Florida State, did not have any kind of outstanding career there, wasn't a first-round draft pick, and, you know, all these things, and he just stuck with it. There's John Lynch.
And Derek Brooks. Yeah, exactly. And Brad Johnson is a phenomenal success story in the NFL, because he's a guy who didn't have an overabundance of just natural talent. No. He just stuck with it.
It reminds me of a Kurt Warner story.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And now, you know, he is in San Diego at the Super Bowl.
And John Gruden wasn't even convinced that he was going to be the #1 quarterback when they started the season. And over time, I think they gained each other's confidence. And he got in there, and now he, you know, almost can't imagine anybody else being in there. And, of course, Brad has led this team. And what a difference between the October game, between the Bucs in Philadelphia, and then yesterday. It was almost a different team that showed up in Philadelphia yesterday.
They were absolutely different teams. And early in the season, the Buccaneers, John Gruden, the players, everyone kept saying, just be patient. This is a growing this is a project that's going to grow through the season. We're going to get better. You might not see that we're getting better by leaps and bounds, but we will get better, and we will grow and improve. And that is exactly what this football team did.
You know, when they say they have to learn the offense, I heard Brad Johnson say, you know, when we played Philadelphia the last time, we really didn't know the offense. So, you know, what does that mean, they really didn't know the offense? Does it mean they forgot what they were supposed to do in the middle of a play? Does it mean they didn't understand one? You know, what does that mean to
Well, what the football players want to do is everything needs to be just absolute second nature to them, just like. So they
don't have to think about it.
Just kind of like driving a car. Right. You get in a car and you put it in gear and you drive, and that's what they need to be able to do when they see a particular coverage. They need to be able to adjust to that, and just everyone needs to know what everybody else is going to do. And
is it Brad's job out there to figure it out instantaneously?
It is Brad's job, but it's also the job of many of the other players. Also, the defensive players have one of the more difficult jobs because they have to adjust to other teams' offenses. But yeah, it's Brad primarily because he's the play caller. He's the one that needs to look around and see, you know, are they lining up in a blitz? Is it a cover two? You know, what are they going to do with it?
Does he have communication with John Gruden from his helmet?
Yeah, they have.
So are they talking back and forth with him?
Well, I don't think Brad can talk to him, but he can hear.
He can hear.
Yes.
Okay. And does he have the option of changing something that Coach Gruden perhaps has relayed to him, and then Brad maybe sees something out there that he's not comfortable with? And does he have the option of changing what he's been told to do?
Absolutely does. And that's the greatest trust that a head coach can put put in a quarterback is giving him the option to audible or to change a play at the line of scrimmage based on the defense that he sees. And sometimes you'll see a team line up and the defense shift around, and you'll see the quarterback will call a timeout because it's not what they had planned, and they weren't prepared for that. But Brad Johnson has quite a repertoire of plays, and he definitely knows what he's doing. And a lot of the plays that they do, a lot of the plays are the same play over and over again. They just line up differently, and they look a little bit differently.
You have been watching the arrival of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at San Diego International Airport, where they have just arrived for what amounts to this historic week in this 26-year-old football franchise, because this is the first Super Bowl invitation that this team has ever had, and they've come such a long way in a short period of time. The team has just arrived in San Diego, and it appears that they are all loaded up on those buses. They'll head to their hotel where they will spend Super Bowl week and work in practice and hopefully a little bit of leisure time and downtime. And we have live coverage, of course, all week because we are the ABC Action News Super Bowl station. This is where you want to be, Sunday, January 26th, and we have a full crew out there, and we thank you for joining us right now. Thank you, Jerry Jones. You educated me a little bit on this entire football process. Super Bowl 37 coming up this week. We have live coverage all week, and now we return to Hollywood Squares.
At any 2 more years. It doesn't mean we'll become a free agency team like others, but it does mean we're going to have to change our plan of attack a little bit. But to get John and to get what he brings to the table at the age of 39, although in work years he's 70, was important to us, and you know, it's proved out.
Rich, in what ways has John impacted your team? Can you just talk about the many different ways John Gruden has impacted?
And then I'll go to you, Joe. John's impacted our team very simply this. I think when you look at our defense, what was built by Tony, by Monty, by the personnel, was a very good defense. Built to win, built to succeed. I thought what John did for our defensive guys was kind of re-energize them, bring new life back to them, because he brought hope to the offensive side of the ball. He, from the first day in minicamp, when I think he promoted skirmishes between the offense and the defense, he set a tone for the offense that really we had not set before. And I think that invigorated the Warren Sapps, the Derek Brookses, the John Lynches of the world, because we are going to hold those guys accountable. There is going to be a standard set, and that standard is going to be high, and accordingly we now have a chance to win a championship again. It didn't mean we didn't before, but it was always that thing in your mind that as the season went on sometimes that, you know, these games are going to turn into 3-0 games. And if we can get to 3, great. If we don't, we're in trouble. And that was hard to win a championship with. And I think what John did is he changed that mindset. I think the other thing John deserves a lot of credit for is he came in and he felt the team out. He figured out how the team operates. And he didn't try to change that dramatically. He didn't try to change the chemistry dramatically, because it'd been a pretty good place. We'd been in the playoffs 3 years in a row. Prior to that, I mean, we'd done some good things. So he did a nice job of feeling what he needed to change and how he needed to change it. And clearly he re-energized us. And I was telling somebody today, the thing that's most impressive to me about what's happened with John and all that's gone on in this offseason is there was tremendous pressure on John, and he felt it. You know, he won't tell you that, but there was. He felt it. You know, we watched ESPN on draft day, and if Chris Mortensen and those guys said one more time, boy, the Raiders may have gotten the best end of that trade, it was getting tough on John. It was tough on John, and he felt it. He internalized it. He worked hard to try to get through it, but then we lost the first game at home where we don't lose. And what I give John a lot of credit for is he didn't miss a beat. He didn't set him back. He knew we were a good football team. We came back, won 3 or 4 in a row, and he kept going. So I give John a lot of credit because he did come into a situation that wasn't the easiest, and he really made it as smooth as it could be.
Can you talk about why John and the coaching staff chose to stay back today? And what are they
Yeah, strictly game planning. The problem is that in a 1-week Super Bowl, when you have to travel across the country, if you travel today, the problem is you've killed your big planning day. So that what we came up with was the idea that John and his staff would stay there today. they'd get up in the morning and get on a flight at about, I think we chartered a plane about 5:30 in the morning, which for John, he will have been up for a couple hours, and they will fly here, attend media day, and actually, because of the time they pick up, we'll be able to start game planning again. I think John was most concerned about the game planning because he does a lot of that himself. He watches the cut-ups, he does all of that, he's very focused. And as John said, this is the biggest game we're ever going to play. We'll never play one bigger. We may play equal hopefully someday, but we'll never play one bigger.
Rich, once again, two quarterbacks here that have taken a long route, different teams. Is it maturation that takes that long? Is it finding the right system with Brad Johnson, Rich Gannon?
Well, I know with Rich Gannon, Rich was like Brad. He was successful at various stages of his career. It just wasn't consistent success. At Kansas City, he had some good years. At Minnesota, he had some good years. Brad at Minnesota obviously had some very good years, but it was never consistent success because people always look for more. People want flash. People want the big arm, the quick feet. They want it all. And so when all of a sudden you have a little lack of success, everybody wants to change the quarterback. And that happened to both of them. I think the nice thing is they've now found places where the teams are committed to trying to play to their strengths, not focus on what they can't do. And I think that's the fit has worked out very well for them. Maturation means a lot in our business because it is, at the quarterback position, it is a very complicated game. But I think more than anything for them, it's been the fit. They've found the right fit.
Richard, why the defense has been putting up numbers for like 6-7 years now, but the fact that you're in the Super Bowl now, does that maybe validate that this defense is one of the best?
All right, the Bucs will try to get their name off of this list of existing teams without an NFL championship. The Bucs have not won a title since their inception in 1976. The Atlanta Falcons lead this list of futility. They have no titles since their inception in 1966. And with that, hi and welcome inside the ESPN Newsroom, everybody. About 9:09 here in the East. J.W. Stewart along.
Well, your role on this ball club, he's found a way to challenge you, and he's even getting Nate Webster fired up about kickoff. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's just what he does and how he goes about it, and we just really enjoy being around him.
We have this very interesting storyline, as you know. He was a coach of the other team last year. I mean, you guys must realize it's a very interesting, strange encounter here.
I guess you're going to have to talk to them guys and him about it, because we're out of the loop.
How do you feel about him leaving you here to answer the questions about Chucky Bowl, though?
I'm really not worried about that. I can handle it. But, he's back home preparing a game plan for us, and that's the one thing that we're going to need to get it done when we go out here and play on Sunday. And right now they're putting it together, and that's what we need.
Has he ever tried to curb your enthusiasm at all? Has he ever talked to you about, just things you might say or do off the field, anything like that?
Well, the thing that he asked me to do was not talk about, how I felt about this ball club or put any, Super Bowl goals on us or anything like that. But that was his whole focus for us when he first walked in. He said, we want to go global. And we all kind of took a seat back and said, all right, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. And he said, let's do it humbly and let our pass do the talking. And that was the challenge for me, and I liked it.
If he knows the Raiders so well, how come he has the game plan for him?
Who got the game plan?
If he knows the Raiders so well, he has the game plan for him.
I'm sure Money Kiffin has a lot he wants to do about this thing. So it's just John on an offensive standpoint. And like I said, he's ready to attack from anywhere that we get the ball, and we like that style.
Do you think you have an advantage with your coach knowing this opposition so well?
The thing about it is you got to go out and play. I mean, there's no way you're going to go out and know what Rich Gannon's going to do with that ball and the plethora of weapons that he have to give it to. So the thing that we have to do is to play the type of defense we like to play, and that's discipline and make them earn every yard they get.
Warren, how do you stop their passing attack?
I don't think you stop someone's passing attack, but if you want to play that game, that's our strength. Not anymore. When I walked in this room and looked up, I mean, growing up as a kid and being a sports fanatic, you live for these times and you watch it all the time, and to be surrounded here today is just almost surreal for me. But I realize where I'm at, and there's a job to do here.
Are you worried at all about the happy to be here possibility for this team, avoiding that kind of thing?
Like I said before we left the vet, and we ain't here for no vacation, because I live in the only peninsula in the United States of America, and if I want vacation time, I live it every day of my life, so I'm not here for a vacation.
When you think of the Raiders, what do you think? Because your name was actually floated during the group talks last year, whether it was media speculation or whatever.
Well, it's good to be in company with a man that's worth $8 million and 4 draft picks, I say.
Warren,
Can you talk about your journey just to get here? I mean, you've been in this league a while now, and this is what you've been waiting for.
Tim Brown spent, 14 and 15 before he got here, so I feel myself pretty privileged. But as you look back and you look over the training camps and everything that goes into it, it's been a while and it's been a wild ride, and I enjoyed it the whole way, but it's still not done. I mean, you can't get to this point and say, put it on cruise control, because that's when you get knocked off, and then you be fighting your whole life again to get back to this point.
How confident?
Oh, no, just, I like Jaws. He does our preseason games, and he does our preseason radio guide. He came out on the vet and reenacted the only touchdown that was going to be scored, for a while. So it's just one of those things where it was just, I like Jaws. Jaws is a good dude.
What do you think of the Raiders? I mean, the challenge that you face, are you making any predictions about victory? How confident are you guys?
We're just going to go out and play football. I mean, we haven't even seen a game plan right now. That's the thing that you have to do. You have to go in and put in a game plan and then see how it plays out on a practice field. You know before you ever leave the practice field if you're going to have a chance to win a ball game. I mean, believe that.
What were John's parting words to you guys before you left here?
Go out and have a night with the media and get acclimated, and because he don't want a bunch of sleepy people and crazy people, because we got to be first thing in the morning with the whole crowd at the stadium. So we're going to make sure we knock off all our engagements to where we got to go and check them all off, and they're putting in the game plan, and they'll meet us with the game plan tomorrow, and then we go to work.
Warren, you had said for years,
All right, let's update you on our poll question here. Will the Gruden versus the Raiders hype be a distraction for the players? Yes, no, or only until kickoff? And 47% of you say no, but it's almost a split vote. 42% say it'll only be a distraction until kickoff. Thanks for voting.
And let's stay interactive. We also asked you with the matchup for Super Bowl 37 set for San Diego. Which team won the first Super Bowl played in San Diego? You guys got it right. First show I've done with it, actually got it right. 39% said the Redskins, and the answer is right. The Redskins back. Super Bowl 22. A lot of you thought it was the Niners, but it was the Redskins. So we just heard from Warren Sapp, and it's going to be a great game, predictably, because it's the #1 offense, the #1 defense. Warren Sapp, and they have their work cut out going up against the Raiders. So.
Yeah, and we will hear from more of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We also anticipate hearing from some of the Raiders later this evening. So you.
Hour and 15 minutes later with the Men in Black. An easier flight for the Raiders, who had to travel just down the coast. This is Al Davis's 5th Super Bowl appearance. The Raiders have won 3 already, but not since 1984 when they beat the Redskins in Tampa. There are a lot of soap opera subplots in this first ever Pirate Bowl, starting with John Gruden facing his former team for the very first time.
John Gruden, I have so much, respect for him. He went to Tampa Bay, did a, great job, and, it's going to be, like I said, unusual seeing him on the sidelines, but, as a Raider, here we go. I'm excited about the opportunity, and I hope we can win it.
So no fuel for the fire from Jerry Rice, and you don't expect that from a classy guy like him, but there's a lot of Raiders out there that hold a lot of animosity towards John Gruden. They felt that he abandoned them when they were ready to go to the Super Bowl. So you're going to be hearing a lot of talking coming from them, especially from Frank Middleton, former Buccaneer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they both know each other so well, both sides. So
too well.
Okay, thank you so much, Kev. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Except they don't know Monty Kiffin.
Right.
We've got an
We hope
edge
not.
here. The city of San Diego is already geared up for Super Bowl 37.
Several hundred visitors will make their way to the city in the next few days, and our reporter in San Diego tonight is Van Earl Wright. And Van Earl, is it starting to get busy out there?
Absolutely, Kelly. It's the pace is picking up out here in San Diego. This is the first time in the history of the Super Bowl that both the head coaches will be in their first year with their respective teams. And the Raiders have 12 guys over 30 years of age, so this short work week might play a factor in their preparations and how they're able to recover from their AFC Championship game, their win over Tennessee. But the preparations have already begun. They're well underway at Qualcomm Stadium. That building is one of the smaller Super Bowl venues in the rotation of stadiums. Just 71,000 is the capacity. And the Bucs will be the home team for this Super Bowl 37. Of course, Tampa knows as well as any city in America how much of an impact a Super Bowl can have on the local economy. Some $300 million expected to be injected into the San Diego community here. Third Super Bowl for this city. The others came in January of 88 and 98. Over 3,500 members of the media will be here covering the largest sporting event known to mankind, and it'll be televised in over 220 countries. As for the Buccaneers accommodations, they'll be staying in the lovely area of La Jolla, California. Torrey Pines working out at UC San Diego, even though UC San Diego doesn't have a football team. You figured out we haven't been able to. San Diego known for its world-famous zoo, but also known for its quality weather. Beautiful day here today in San Diego, and that'll make the Buccaneers feel right at home. Temperatures expected to be around 65 or 70 degrees come Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Western Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and the halftime show, proud to tell you, Shania Twain and No Doubt.
That's going to be a good one. And, you know, we saw the players getting off the plane when they arrived just a little while ago, and it looked beautiful, and they were so relaxed.
Well, they have plenty of time to get relaxed, but more time to get focused, and you know they're going to do that. Tonight, the players just enjoying themselves a little bit out and about in the Gaslamp district of downtown San Diego, celebrating their championships.
I guess we can't scare up a 40-degree temperature, can we, Van?
Yeah, I don't think so. Not out here.
Especially since we seem to like that now.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Thanks very much.
We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
And who can forget that huge crowd at Raymond James Stadium that came out last night and stayed a long time?
The estimates vary on this, Kelly, from around 30 to 40,000 people who were out there waiting for the Bucs to come home, ending that 27-year drought.
How about those Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Head coach John Gruden greeting the crowd at a spontaneous pep rally, and from the air you can get an idea of the scope of this post-midnight reception. It was a massive burst of jubilation as the conquering heroes of the NFC came home to Tampa. The celebrations in Oakland last night were not so well behaved. Some people were injured when crowds took to the streets to celebrate Oakland's win over Tennessee. Bonfires blocked some streets. Others used their cars to cut donuts in the streets, dangerously close to people. Police say the rambunctious celebrations died down after a few hours. And for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's a new era of Buck ball, a new era for fans who watch this team make history in Philadelphia and win themselves a spot in the Super Bowl for the first time.
There were times when the team really was a punching bag of the NFL. We all remember those days. But many players love the area and have made Tampa Bay their home. Fox 13 Mark Wilson spoke with some of them tonight and joins us now with some of their thoughts. Mark?
Kelly, you know, there were not a lot of people around back in 1979 when the Bucs were on the cover of Sports Illustrated who actually thought it would take another 23 years for them to reach this point, to reach the big game. However, that is exclusively the point, that there are so many people here who have ever been a Buc that they are so much enjoying.
Fans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are experts on the subject of defeat.
Many conveniently forgot when picking on the early Bucs that they were an expansion team.
And obviously you're going to have a lot of comical plays in a scenario like that.
Jimmy Giles, who now operates an insurance business in South Tampa, was a key player in turning the team around from losing their first 26 games to reaching the NFC Championship in just 4 years. He says the players should certainly get much of the credit this time, but he also says championships start in the front office.
If you get the owners, the general manager, and the coach committed to winning, you're going to have a winning football team.
On that 79 team with Giles, strong safety number 33, Mark Cotney. He wore orange and white for 10 years, and he now operates a dry cleaning business in New Tampa.
I have a huge majority of my customers are fans, but now everybody's a fan. You know, I mean, they just say, wait a minute, you can't jump on the bandwagon now, man.
And though it's been 16 years since he's laced them up, he says the old-timers feel like they're winning too.
You know, I feel that way now, and I can't honestly say I've always felt that way. John Gruden's brought that back to this bunch, you know.
Cornerback Ricky Reynolds wore Buccaneer orange a bit later, from 87 to 93, and saw no championship runs.
It made you wonder, you know, is there a jinx, you know?
He did eventually get an AFC championship ring with the Patriots, but he returned to Tampa after football. Now a coach at Blake High School, he's as anxious as anyone to see a victory on Sunday.
You know, the people around here just, I mean, they're already, you know, Buck crazy, but, you know, it's really, you know, just going to be exciting, you know, just to be around and to be proud to wear that Buccaneer hat.
An awful lot of pride running all throughout the Buccaneer family. In Ricky's case, went to New England, finished his career there, still decided to come back to Tampa, as did Jimmy Giles, who ironically, Kelly, finished his career in Philadelphia. He played 3 years with the Eagles, and he too decided he wanted to come back to Tampa to make his home here.
Well, it's amazing, and we heard the players, the former players, talking about that. But at the beginning of the season, John Gruden had a big party for all the former Bucs that were here in Tampa and all the current Bucs, and obviously that camaraderie helped them.
Kelly, that was a precious moment. Mark Cotney told me tonight, he said that was a time when Coach Gruden brought them together and said, look, all of you guys who were around in the late 70s, early 80s, I was around when I was 12, 13 years old as a kid. John Gruden was. Many times he was around practice, participating, playing with them, enjoying with them. And what he told them was, you guys are where I got my fire. I got my emotion from you guys. I wanted to learn how to win from you guys. And that, for Coach Gruden, is where it started. And that made all those guys, those old timers, feel a lot younger, too.
That's great. It's great to see them again. Where'd you get that old program? My house?
No, we actually stole it from our executive producer's office. She was kind enough to share it with us tonight. But, you know, this is some of the memorabilia you're probably going to be seeing here in the next couple of weeks. A lot of people had this stuff around, didn't think it'd be worth anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing this stuff pop up in auctions.
Keep it, yeah.
Great. Thank you, Mark.
Sure.
All right, now you're going to want to stay right here with us here on Fox 13 all week long for your Super Bowl Bucs coverage.
We're going to have full coverage on every newscast, of course, but we'll also have a half-hour special every night at 11 o'clock starting tonight.
And you want to get ready for what could be the biggest pep rally Tampa has ever seen. We'll be live Friday morning from Leroy Selman's restaurant on Good Day Tampa Bay, so come out and join us. Now, Bucs merchandise, as you can imagine, is flying off the shelves now.
There's something that's a strong second, and it will affect the way you see the game, and that's coming up next. Also, local...
It's the football game, and he does it. Believe me, he does it.
What do you think, John? Ronnie has told me that John raised the level of intensity for this defense.
Yeah.
Can you confirm that?
You know, a lot of that, takes us all the way back to OTA days when, we're competing. It's not just going through the motions, dealing with, different formations, whatever. I mean, we're really trying to win every single snap, and John is a competitive guy. He's first one on the field to cuss us out. We make a play. That's fun. It makes competition interesting, and this game's all about competition.
How do you approach playing against an offense that has a lot of personality? How do you approach it?
You know what? We faced what I think we're going to face in John's offense, and I've talked to Don Abraham with the Jets, and they've played him a couple times, and talked to some of the other people that have played this team. It's like, you guys are ready to face these guys. You know what's going to come with it. It's just a matter of you going out and executing what you know how to do, being able to match up and winning the individual battles, which we try to do every week. And if we go out and do that, then we should be fine.
The turnover mentality.
Murphy making Weber extend.
Let's check in on the Kings and the Warriors. Pick this
champion for the biggest battle in Bucs history.
The city was in an uproar, and they were up behind us 100%, and we want to bring a championship home.
Good evening, I'm Keith Cate.
And I'm Stacey Scheibel. Bob Height and Gail Sierens are on assignment in San Diego. Thank you for joining us. Our top story tonight, sights set on a Super Bowl victory.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers touched down in San Diego about 5 o'clock Pacific time tonight. That's 8 o'clock our time. And in 6 days, they hope to defeat the Oakland Raiders with key plays just like they made yesterday in Philadelphia. As the nation knows by now tonight, the Bucs beat the Eagles 27-10, clinching their first NFC championship title. So it makes sense that earlier today, hundreds of fans joined ranks at Raymond James Stadium to send their hometown heroes off to Super Bowl 37. This was one more chance to cheer on the Super Bowl-bound Bucs before they took off for San Diego. Again, your Buccaneers are in San Diego tonight, and so are the Oakland Raiders. But there is one person missing, Bucs head coach John Gruden. We have 8 on your side team coverage tonight. Marcia Crawley is in the Pinellas newsroom with a look at the search for Super Bowl tickets. And J.P. Peterson is at the team hotel near San Diego. And J.P., we'll begin with you. Where in the world is our coach?
Well, he's doing what he should be doing. That's getting the game plan ready for the Oakland Raiders. John Gruden decided to stay behind where he can work in his office, where everything is familiar, all the tape machines are familiar, and he can get that game plan ready for the Oakland Raiders. Coming up on Sunday, 6 o'clock kickoff there. Now, plenty of Buck fans at the hotel here to greet the team when they got here. Rob Johnson, I think we'll see signing some autographs for some of the fans. We're in the lobby. There you see him right there, and a lot of the players stopped to sign some autographs. Simeon Rice was styling as well in what I'll call an Al Davis-like sweatsuit. He might not like that. Now, the players will relax tonight. John Lynch told us he's going to take some of the guys out to his favorite Mexican restaurant. Of course, John here from San Diego. It'll be media day tomorrow morning, and Coach Gruden will join them in the morning, and he'll have the game plan in hand.
This is a hectic week, obviously with all the travel and everyone trying to get their families out here, and then there's a lot going on. So I think it was a smart move by John to stay back the extra. Really, it gets 2 days of preparation in, and they've been breaking down both Tennessee and Oakland last week also. So they were ahead of the game, but I think it was a smart move on his part.
All right, now what was the message that he gave you today when you guys met?
What did he tell us? He basically just said, we're going up for a job. He's got to get a curfew. You're taking a curfew because we're up here it's a business trip for us. You want to have fun, but we still have work to do. It's not just satisfying enough to get here. You got to come here to win.
Yeah, no question the Bucs have put the celebration of the NFC Championship game behind them, and now they were squarely focused on the Super Bowl. They had that media event tonight. The Raiders also held a press conference. The players will relax today, and tomorrow is media day as well. That's always a lot of fun for the media. I don't know about the players, but coming up in sports, we'll talk a little bit more about that, and I'll tell you exactly how tired these guys really are. Back to you.
All right, J.P. Peterson, thank you so much. We'll see you in just a few minutes. For Bucs fans, this Super Bowl, the team's first, of course, is exciting because it's been a long time coming. 27 years, to be exact. Mayor Dick Greco says it's been a long wait.
I've been a Bucs fan since they started, again, I remember when they said, yes, we're coming to Tampa. I thought that was phenomenal, and we went through the years of them building as a team and almost getting there 2-3 times, and now actually going to the Super Bowl. Again, you could not buy the publicity.
Mayor Greco says Mayor Street of Philadelphia is supposed to call him tomorrow sometime to congratulate Tampa. The Philly leader will also pay up on their friendly wager, cheesesteaks and Scrapple. Not that anybody really wants the Scrapple. He'd probably keep it in Philly.
Right. To say that Super Bowl tickets are the hottest ticket in town, complete understatement at this point. Nearly everyone, of course, wants a chance to be there for the big game. And tonight, that wish came true for one lucky lady.
You're going to the Super Bowl!
Gladys Pledger won a drawing sponsored by radio station WQYK. She and her husband are going to enjoy an all-expenses-paid trip to the Super Bowl in San Diego. Other big Bucs fans in the crowd were awfully disappointed they didn't win, but they showed good sportsmanship. There you hear it, cheering for Gladys. WQYK has had other drawings over the past few days, but this one was different. Participants could enter their names once an hour up to 4 times. But for Gladys, it took only once. And Gladys was not the only one trying to get tickets tonight. Marcia Crowley joins us from the Pinellas newsroom with a look at how others are trying to make a play for tickets. Marcia?
Trying is key, Stacy. As you know, you can always hit eBay. The bids appear to be running around $3,000 to $4,000 for a pair of tickets. But if you're concerned about getting taken on the internet, there are other ways to get yourself a seat at the Super Bowl. For a lot of money and a little patience, Buck Fan Tours can fly you out, put you up, and get you a ticket to the big game.
It's unbelievable how many people have already booked their package to go to the Super Bowl.
Amber Petite and her son Dean can hardly wait for word on their trip.
I'm like, come on.
Dean is a Bucs and Raiders fan. He made the pitch to Mom at the start of football season.
I asked if we can go to the Super Bowl if the Bucs and the Raiders went to the Super Bowl.
I was like, oh, yeah, sure, we'll go. Not thinking in a long shot that they would pair up and be playing. So I told him I would never go back on my word.
And while they wait...
Okay.
Sherry and Ron Cicino work the phones.
If you hear anything, give me a buzz.
The Casa Grill Beach couple must be in San Diego.
We don't have a ticket. We're going to have a ticket. We're going to be inside.
With friends across the country.
You're in Maui?
Is it Maui?
I'll take tickets for Maui. So you know what? Your brother does live in San Diego.
Yes,
That
yes.
would be-
Have him call his brother.
Every call is a prospect, even wrong numbers.
You know what? You called the Sandpiper Hotel. You've got the Casino Ticket Center
See
here.
if they have it.
We're looking for Bucs tickets. Do you have any?
Sherry hasn't missed a Super Bowl in a dozen years, and all those connections pay off.
I've actually never paid for, for a ticket, but I'm willing to pay for a ticket.
So is Amber Petit.
You're all set? We're ready to go.
She says it's well worth $6,000 to see her son in a Super Bowl seat.
Super Bowl 37, here we come.
Now, the folks at Buck Fan Tours say they've sold more than 500 of those Super Bowl packages just today. When we were there earlier, they were down to the 4-day packages. That's leaving on Thursday, getting back on Sunday. But as you heard, it'll cost you. Keith? And Stacy?
Yeah, amazing. $6,000, Marcia. That is one lucky boy, but he called it early in the season. This will be a memory for a lifetime.
It will.
Now, did you check back with Sherry and Ron? Did they ever get tickets?
I did. I called them about an hour ago. They hadn't yet gotten tickets. They had some good prospects, some friends that just in the few hours that we had left there to the show had actually gotten tickets, and they said they were looking for more for Sherry and Ron, so, you know, they got their fingers crossed.
Persistence often pays off. We'll see. Huh? Thanks. Marcia Crawley reporting live tonight. Now, one Bay Area Bucs fan heading for the game actually gets paid to go to the Super Bowl every year. Tampa's own Kathy Humphrey works for a country music magazine published in England, and for the last 7 years, she has covered the Super Bowl. Humphrey says this year, of course, is extra special because her home team is in the game. Humphrey and her husband will drive to San Diego and say they hope to get there sometime Wednesday. Kathy gets close to the action. Not only does she write the article, she also takes the pictures. Kathy tells us she took nearly 450 last year. She says there's nothing quite like the Super Bowl experience.
Being part of the Super Bowl is, your adrenaline just goes. We don't sleep because we're attending from one thing to the next, and by the time we get back to our hotel room to even get a shower, it's time to get up and go again.
It's an exciting time. She says she'll be so busy at the Super Bowl she'll need a vacation to recover from it. We're going to have much more on the Bucs, of course, coming up in sports. And then at 11:35, we're going to have extended San Diego Showdown coverage. Now, also in tomorrow's Tampa Tribune, more on why Coach Gruden stayed behind in Tampa for an extra day. Then on TBO.com, there's a special Super Bowl section, including more on Qualcomm Stadium and ticket information. This week, we're planning extended coverage on the San Diego Showdown. You can look for 2 half-hour specials to air Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. and then a full hour-long News Channel 8 Sports Extra at 7 p.m. Friday, hosted by J.P. Peterson in San Diego, along with Gail Sierens and Bob Height.
1979, worst to first. The Bucs win the NFC Central in only their 4th year of existence. It was the quickest rise for an expansion team in NFL history. America's most notorious losers were losers no more. The Bucs' first playoff game, a 24-17 victory over Philadelphia. Tampa Bay now standing a game away from a trip to the Super Bowl, a trip that will be decided in Tampa Stadium against the Los Angeles Rams. With the league's #1 defense, the Bucs hold LA to 3 field goals, but they couldn't overcome 2 penalties that erased 10 points off the scoreboard. The Bucs lose 9-0. The last regular season game in 1981, Bucs versus Lions for the division title. The Lions hadn't lost a home game all season and already had their victory champagne on ice. But the Bucs ignore the hostile environment. Leroy Selman leads the charge.
Leroy Selman after him. Leroy's got him. The ball's up in the air. It's a fumble. David Logan will take it in, and it's a touchdown, Buccaneers.
The Bucs beat the Lions 20-17.
We're the champs.
It would be a quick exit this time for Tampa Bay as the Dallas Cowboys crushed the Bucs in the first round of the playoffs, 38-0. 1982, a strike-shortened season. The Bucs win 5 of their final 6 games, sneaking into the playoffs, setting up a rematch with the Cowboys in Dallas. The Bucs take a 17-16 lead into the final quarter. It would be their last playoff points they'd score for 15 years, losing the game 30-17. 6 coaches later, the Bucs finally return to the playoffs. Head coach Tony Dungy, in his 2nd year, leads Tampa Bay to a wild-card berth. It's the first playoff game at home since 1979. The Bucs beat the Lions 20-10. It's the franchise's 2nd playoff victory The road to the Super Bowl would come to an end, though, the following weekend in Green Bay as the Packers beat the Bucs 21-7. For just the second time in team history, the Bucs reached the NFC Championship game against the Rams, but come up short on a controversial call in the final minutes of the game. Tampa Bay holds the eventual Super Bowl champs to a season-low 11 points, but are defeated 11-6. Back-to-back trips to Philly in 2000 and 2002, the Bucs failed to generate an offensive touchdown for the third straight playoff game. The 31-9 loss proves costly as the Glazers fire Tony Dungy. The move creates weeks of chaos, but in the end, the Glazers get the man they feel will take them to the Super Bowl. And in his first season, John Gruden delivers with 2 playoff victories. A 31-6 shellacking of San Francisco at home, followed by the franchise's first road playoff victory. The Bucs closed Veterans Stadium down, beating the Eagles 27-10. An upset victory that puts the Bucs in the Super Bowl for the first time in their 27-year history.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Now, all this week, we will be looking at the lives of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers off the field.
And their lives before they were Bucs. Tonight it's the Barber twins, Rondé and Tiki. Find out how their early years made them the men and the players they are today.
Hey, bring it on. Big game.
That's right. There's a lot of excitement already, and it's only Tuesday. But, you know, later in the week, a lot of fans are going to come down from Oakland to cheer on the Raiders, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans will come out from Florida. But now, today we've been talking to a lot of local San Diego residents, and it's amazing how many of them will be rooting for the Bucs on Sunday. And it's not so much that they necessarily love the Buccaneers. It's that they love to hate the Raiders. In fact, one guy told me the thought of the Raiders strutting around as NFL champions for a whole year was really more than he could even bear. ABC's Carla Wall has more on the mixed feelings that San Diegans have about hosting this Super Bowl.
This isn't the matchup many San Diego residents were hoping for. In fact, it's their worst nightmare. It's not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming to town that has them worried. It's not even the Raiders. It's their fans. They have a reputation, and last night they lived up to it, setting fires and breaking windows in Oakland to celebrate their team's victory.
It's hard to say why, but the Raiders fans have always been like this, a little rowdy, a little rougher than most football fans.
Add to that image the bad blood between the Oakland Raiders and San Diego Chargers, and you have a recipe for trouble. In fact, some merchants in San Diego's historic district are talking about closing up shop.
The fans are crazy, which is good for them. I mean, it's impressive that they have such team spirit, but for the rest of the cities, it is kind of pretty dangerous.
The history between the teams goes back at least 40 years.
There have been some questionable plays. There have been lawsuits between the owners. There's been a heart attack with the Chargers owner,
who, by the way, then sued the Raiders owner, saying he caused the heart attack. The animosity between the teams is played out in the stands. The games between the Chargers and Raiders are punctuated by fights. There's even been a stabbing.
See, a lot of people in San Diego won't even use their Charger-Raider tickets. They'll sell them to Raiders fans because they know they're going to be outnumbered.
So don't expect locals to root for the California team. In fact, for many here, a Raider loss would be sweet revenge. Carla Wohl, ABC News, San Diego.
Well, the fact of the matter is it's sort of tough times for Charger fans. Their team has failed to make the playoffs for the last 7 consecutive seasons. So they can really relate to the Bucs. In fact, the story of the Buccaneers really gives them some hope. And I think it's captured the imagination of the whole country. There's going to be a lot of people rooting for our team on Sunday. That's the latest from San Diego. We'll have more later in Bucs Zone. Marty, Bob, back to you.
That's right. This really puts it on the map. My father-in-law in Missouri 4 years ago couldn't even get the Bucs games out on television out there. Was never aware of them.
No, I think
That's
the whole nation knew it as a team of losers, and maybe this is time to wake the whole country up as
well, it sure
now.
is. And thousands of fans, some estimate more than 30,000, were at Raymond James Stadium last night to welcome the team home after their NFC victory over the Eagles.
Great show by the fans. They were back at Ray J today to wish the team good luck for their trip to San Diego. And our team coverage continues now with ABC Action News reporter Serena Fazan, who was at that rally.
Fans started arriving here at around 9 this morning with just a few hours sleep. After all, the welcome home party for the Bucs wrapped up at around 2 this morning. But still, for these fans, it was well worth it. Tell ABC Action News where the Buccaneers are going.
They're going.
he was here and he meant business.
Face to face. 2 days after he got the job, I got a message that he wanted to see me. You know me, I'm the easy find. I go right in there and he gives one of those. Hey! I look at him and I smile. I said, listen, cuz, on my job, it takes 2 people and it still ain't on lock. So you're not going to intimidate me.
Intimidation or motivation? That was hardly the point. What really mattered was that Gruden put a face on his passion.
After you get past the initial scour and, you know, those, he's really just a player's coach that loves tempo and loves to win.
We bought into his philosophy real quick because we saw the passionate man and, you know, desire that he has to win is something that, you know, we all shared in common.
Once we got to training camp and he laid that schedule out in front of us, we knew we had a chance to be a world champion.
Thanks a lot. Gruden, kid does make an impact when he arrives. Took the Raiders from 4-12 to 500 in his first year, laid the groundwork for the current team. And though he joined a winner when he jumped ships, get it? Jump ships? He coached the Bucs to their best regular season ever and first Super Bowl. We are in Embarcadero Marina Park North on San Diego Bay as seen from above by Goodyear Spirit of America. As Nick Mackay would say, sports centers just living the dream.
Our live team coverage of the Super Bowl-bound Bucs continues now from the home of Super Bowl 37, San Diego, California.
Action sports reporter Al Keck joins us live now. And Al, you met with the players tonight. Do they have their game faces on, or what mood are they in?
They had their tired faces on because they had very little time to enjoy that NFC Championship. As you know, the players are here. The media is here. The only no-show right now, the coaching staffs. Both coaching staffs received special permission from the NFL to delay their arrival for a day because of an opportunity to game plan. And believe me, that wasn't their only sneaky move. The Buccaneers would like to save this play fake for Sunday. Fans outside the Torrey Pines Hilton, and the Buccaneers sneak in the back door. And no Buccaneer coaching staff. John Gruden stayed home one more day.
If you travel today, the problem is you've killed your big planning day. So what we came up with was the idea that John and his staff would stay there today. They'd get up in the morning and get on a flight at about, I think we chartered a plane about 5:30 in the morning, which for John, he will have been up for a couple hours. And they will fly here, attend media day.
The national media surrounded Keyshawn Johnson and questioned him about his first chance to win a Super Bowl championship.
And when I look at guys that have a ring, that's my ultimate prize and goal. I got plenty of money, plenty of it, plenty of good numbers, played in a lot of games, done well in it. But one thing that I don't have is a Super Bowl ring, and that's the one prize that I chase, you know, why I play.
And there are a lot of players on the Buccaneers feeling exactly the same way. But once again, the coaching staffs will be in town tomorrow for media day. I'm sure that's the one day these coaches would really like to miss. Back to you.
I'm sure it is. That's going to be an exciting day. Thanks a lot, Al. ABC Action News is your station for Super Bowl 37 and the Bucs. You can catch special editions of the Bucs Zone live from San Diego and the Bay Area all this week after ABC Action News at 11. And other than Super Bowl tickets, Bucs gear is probably the most hard to come by stuff in town now.
And it was off the presses immediately. ABC Action News reporter Baron Johnson went looking for merchandise today, and he continues our team coverage now from Sports Authority in West Tampa.
Special pass took them over home away from home, Ray J Stadium. And then a string of limos bristling with police escorts raced the superstars into the streets. Tonight, a Bucs in the Super Bowl for an entire generation. Generations of fans filled the road from victory. But in all the numbing adoration, there is the reality of just another job.
Daddy's getting ready to leave.
Back at home on Monday morning, Rondé the star puts on and takes off his shoes, jackets, ties, and socks, just like everybody else. And yes, it's his wife who's helping with the heavy lifting here. As she packs up the football star and his dreams and then drives him off to the game of his life.
Wife saying goodbye, driving me to One Buck Place.
In Tampa, Lance Williams, News Channel 8.
Wow, that is great stuff. We'll have much more of that all week long here from San Diego. Tomorrow, Rondé will turn the tables on the media at Media Day. Dan, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, JP. I would say get some sleep, but the night is still young out there, still early.
Oh, no. Dude, I'm going straight to bed.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm sure you're not alone. Thanks a lot, JP. All right, Rondé Barber may have sealed Sunday's win with his late-game touchdown, but Tampa Mayor Dick Greco sealed the original deal to bring the Bucs into town. Mayor Greco says he's been waiting a long time to see his team in the Super Bowl.
I don't think you can measure what something like this does for a community. We've waited 27 years. It's especially important to me. I was mayor the first time when we inked the deal to bring the Buccaneers here. Right after I left as mayor, they came to Tampa. We knew they were coming. I came back to help build the stadium for them and write their contract. And they produced a Super Bowl team. So Sunday's going to be a big day for me and certainly for everybody in the Tampa Bay area and all of the fans who have waited so long.
You could bet he'll be in San Diego on Sunday. Well, finally tonight, we all know the Super Bowl is a homecoming for John Lynch. But General Manager Rich McKay is also heading home to Southern California. Now, here's a little secret. McKay got himself in a little trouble at the vet the other day by breaking a universal working press box rule. But who can blame him? It's been a roller coaster career for McKay in Tampa.
I violated the Pro Football Writers Association's ban on cheering in the box.
Bucs general manager Rich McKay couldn't help himself when Rondé Barber intercepted Donovan McNabb and sealed the Bucs' first ever NFC championship. The lifelong Buccaneer was about to realize his dream.
It just was one of those things where I felt like we were going to win. We had a 10-point lead and time was running out, but you never knew.
At age 16, McKay was introduced to the Bucs, a brand new NFL franchise with his father as the head coach. Nearly 20 years later, McKay found himself running the team as general manager. He helped turn the Bucs from a laughingstock to a perennial playoff contender. But it all nearly came to an end last February. The Glazer family had just parted ways with head coach Tony Dungy, and McKay's future was in doubt. The opportunity to jump ship was there.
Obviously, I've lived in Tampa for a long time. This is my home. This is where I wanted to stay. And plus, we'd started something and we did want to finish it.
Enter John Gruden, who made sure McKay knew he was welcome, allowing a 27-year dream to finally come true.
Respect that he deserves.
Okay, that's all the time we have. Don't forget, each night this week, 11:35, a Super Bowl wrap-up. Now stay tuned for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno coming up next. We'll have plenty more Bucs coverage tomorrow from sunny San Diego. Good night.
Selling my home. I didn't need an attorney. If I give my money to a real estate agent...
Them all the way.
Action Sports Director Jay Crawford joins us live again from San Diego. Jay, what's happening?
Well, what's happening is you've got thousands and thousands of Buccaneers fans trying to get tickets to the biggest game in team history. And, folks, the numbers just don't add up. There are not nearly enough tickets for the people that want them. The Buccaneers do what all NFL teams do when they make the Super Bowl. They get a very small allotment of tickets allowed to be sold to season ticket holders. There are, of course, many more season ticket holders than there are tickets available, though, so it's basically a crapshoot. It's a lottery system, and if you're lucky enough to receive a piece of paper in the mail from the Buccaneers saying you have won rights to buy Super Bowl tickets, then, well, you're beating out most other Bucs season ticket holders. With that story, here's Laura McElroy.
Bucs fans started showing up hours before the box office even opened, but only 2,000 season ticket holders actually won the lottery for the Super Bowl tickets. And they're not cheap. Two go for $800. But many Bucs fans gladly paid that price.
We believe 100, number one, yes!
Can you tell Mildred Macy is just...
They're really here for a job. It's a business trip. But unlike most business people, they had hundreds, maybe thousands of people come out to wish them good luck. ABC's Jackie Calloway has that story from Raymond James Stadium.
It's 1 day old, and the Super Bowl's an incredibly long week away. Yet the Bucs understand the need to focus on their final hour.
The game's over with for me. You know, I lived it last night, celebrated it last night, and
I'm already starting to focus on Jerry Rice and Tim Brown.
The Bucs' biggest stars were all smiles, but talking business as they left the East Coast, headed for the West Coast.
We're just super excited because that's what you play for. You play to go to the Super Bowl and to go win it, so that's why we're here.
The players exuded confidence when speaking about the 60 minutes that stands between them and franchise history.
Guys, we know that, if we get down by, a touchdown or so, that we can definitely have the firepower to come back. We have great players on offense, and they're starting to gel and get the job done. And
it's going to be a true Pirate Bowl, Raiders versus Buccaneers, which makes for great gab. Not to mention both teams where the Gruden stand.
I'm excited about it. It's going to be juiced up all week because of the situation with John and the Raiders.
For Rondé Barber, the Gruden fingerprint and going up against the best offense in the country are all just semantics.
It's got to be business as usual. We can't change the game plan just because it's the Super Bowl. We'll do what that got us here.
Jackie Callaway, ABC Action News.
Well, I got to tell you kind of a funny story. There's an aisle basically that goes into the lobby and out the front of the hotel where the players are leaving as, again, they go out to dinner. And it's lined with autograph hounds that have their stuff there and their felt tip markers that they want signed by the players. Well, at one point, Brian Glazier, the son of Malcolm Glazier, the owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, came walking down, and everybody kind of looked away and looked at their watch and waited to see who was coming next. So I came up to him and asked him for his autograph, and I think it made him feel better. That's the kind of fun we're having here in San Diego. Yeah.
It'll pick up as the week goes along.
We got a whole week of it coming up.
And a whole week of it, that's right. I know you'll make the most of it. And when the game time comes, actually, you'll be watching it on a television someplace. You won't be inside there.
Well, maybe the very end. I'll try to catch maybe the second quarter.
All right.
Okay, do that. All right, Brendan, we'll talk to you again
What
later.
a glamour puss he is.
That's right. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Chrome, curves, quality. The spirit of American style. Now Buick shares the spirit with 0 APR for 60 months. 5 years interest-free financing on every new 2003 Buick. Or choose $3,000 cash back. The award-winning Century and LeSabre. The remarkable Rendezvous. 0% or $3,000 cash on every new Buick. See your Florida Buick dealer today.
I just feel like she hates me right now. I'm going to try to give her another call again.
I said go if you want to go. And a chance to dump them on Super Sunday. Mark Malone and our NFL Tonight crew have more from San Diego.
Well, things get a little bit wild, as you might imagine, leading up to a Super Bowl, and we're not just talking about the Raider Nation. They're sure to be here en masse a little bit later in the week. In the meantime, we sent our own Dr. Doolittle out into the wilds of San Diego to get a lay of the land. Here's Greg Garber.
We're here at the world-famous San Diego Zoo, searching for some insight on who will win Super Bowl 37.
Certain animals have speed and agility, jumping ability, grasping ability to be able to avoid predators. These animals are very unique in their own way. Certain animals have ways to survive.
These are African eagles. Their friends in Philadelphia could have learned a few things from them. That's Warren Sapp up there. Look, it's Bill Romanowski. King of the Beasts. Not in Cincinnati and Detroit this year. After the zoo, we decided to test the water at SeaWorld.
Hey, Greg. Hi. Hey, I'd like you to meet Shamu and, of course, baby Shamu right over there.
So, are you guys football fans? How do you feel about the Oakland Raiders? Who do you like in the big game? You guys had Ricky Williams, Jason Taylor, and Zach Thomas, and you couldn't do it. You couldn't make the playoffs. What happened? Who do you like in the big game?
The Raiders!
Touchdown, Raiders! To be out of tonight, I'm Greg Garber!
It's soon as we fish Greg out from the bottom of that pool, hopefully he'll be out and give us some more sights from around the San Diego area. One of the more popular aspects of this show has been the No Huddle offense, where we take your email questions, but it's even better here because we actually went out to the beach and asked people here in San Diego about the Super Bowl. So let's hear their questions.
How can the offensive line of the Raiders block Simon Rice and Sapp?
Well, listen, I really think that if you it makes this a passing game. I think Warren Sapp could be your MVP of this game, or he could be a non-factor. Because if you remember 3 years ago, the Raiders rushed for over 200 yards against this Bucs. So it depends on the game plan.
How's Keyshawn Johnson going to do against the Raiders secondary? I think that's the big question to answer for this game.
Well, Keyshawn Johnson, we know, we talked about the non-separation after he catches the ball, but he's got the big body and can run the middle of the field incredibly well. He's got the big body. He can block off the defenders. He can get you big chunks of yards just on the receptions. He's very dangerous in the red zone, no doubt.
You guys get off Keyshawn, man. Did you get off him?
Come on, man. Keyshawn's going to be able to defend himself.
Get off Keyshawn.
You know why? Because that Bucs plane is now here, as we showed you a little bit ago, and they're now getting off the plane. In fact, you see Keyshawn anywhere? I imagine he's probably got a little bling on.
He's calling Golick right now. Hey, Mike.
Am I wrong, though? I mean, come on.
No, you're right. You're dead right.
But he makes great catches, great possession receptions.
Interesting about this as we watch the Bucs plane here in San Diego for Super Bowl 37 is the fact that John Gruden, as we said, not here. He's back getting the game plan ready. I think that's probably a smart move on his part.
Oh, I think it's a great move. Certainly coaches have been breaking this down for a while now, just for the thought of who the opponent was going to be. And this has been done before. This is not new, where the coaching staff will stay back, players will come out, do their thing, coaches will be locked away for a day.
I think the keys to the Super Bowl are happening today and tomorrow, because it's about installation from then on and then letting it happen come Saturday and Sunday.
The players have some messages?
Merrill's got to get back and break down all that NFL films tape so we can give you all the inside information at Super Bowl 37 here on NFL Tonight, which, by the way, comes your way Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Until then, so long from San Diego, everybody.
You think they're having fun out there?
It doesn't look like it. It's a rough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Just a touch. So Gruden will take on his former team Sundays. The Bucs and Raiders go at it. Last coach to take on his former team in a postseason game was Dan Reeves when he led the Dirty Birds to Super Bowl 33 with the Falcons lost to Reeves' former employer, the Denver Broncos. Marv Levy has the last two postseason wins against his former team when the Bills beat the Chiefs in '91 and the '93 postseason. Per usual, ESPN News, your personal media credential for Super Bowl XXXVII. Our exclusive Media Day coverage on the ESPN family of networks begins at 11:30 Eastern Tuesday morning with the Buccaneers. Raiders step to the mics at around 3:30 Eastern. Can't get to a TV? Log on to ESPNnews.com for complete Super Bowl coverage.
Still ahead, Chris Webber used to call the arena in Oakland home. Monday, C. Webb just played like it was the highlight-worthy show. Straight ahead.
Coach